Hey, Ecamm fam and Keynote fam, because I now have people from different places all over the interwebs. But I want to let you know this is Bradley Vincent of Bradley Teaches, and thank you guys for dropping in with me today. I actually have some late breaking news, so we're going to try to figure out how we're going to make that happen. I might have to leave this video and go do another special video, and then maybe come back later on this evening and redo this one or add more to it. Depends on how long I can stay. But we have some little bit of breaking news I'm working on right now with one of our dear partners. I'll just leave it at that for now because I don't want to let the spill the beans too early. But yeah. So anyway, you guys are tuning in today because we're going to talk about Square videos, right? First thing, I want to let you know how disappointed I am in y'all. I am really disappointed in y'all because in my description with my promo video, I actually referenced a song and nobody picked up on it but one person. I talked about it. It's Hip to Be Square by Huey Lewis, but I guess I am from another generation. But anyway, but thank y'all for coming out. We're going to have a good time today. And I don't want to rush, but I want to make sure I get as much information in as I can. I won't be more than an hour today. So I want to be able to address this and get some things knocked out and also have time for Q&A as usual. So let's jump in and get started. Now, as you saw yesterday, I was talking about a Square video or a what I would consider a social media video, right? Because most of the social media websites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn won't do it because it doesn't necessarily have Square. But you can do Square type videos and make them stand out a little bit different. People have bars at the top and bottom with some text in it, little extra animations and stuff like that. You guys have seen them, right? But there's tons of apps and other software packages because I get hit with a lot of them because I'm on Facebook and because of what I do, I get those kind of ads, right? And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, okay, we're making Keynote do all this other stuff. Can we use Keynote to make Square videos with the little pop-up things and the timer bars and all that stuff? And I did a hold my lemonade as usual, and I figured it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to build some Square videos that you can use for promotional purposes with your long form videos, I call it, right? No, actually, the free pack is coming out tomorrow, Wednesday, because I put a couple of extra things in it, including some stuff I'll be covering today. So I was like, I was in between things. I'm like, you know what? Instead of sending two emails, I'm gonna send one. And what they're referencing is, I said last week I was gonna send like a little prize pack or a little gift pack to some supporters, just free of charge, just some little goodie bag of some stuff, Keynote stuff and other stuff. But all you had to do was send me an email to bvincent@bradleyteaches.com to get it. And yes, I had that last year as part of my 5 common mistakes presentation, and I wasn't going to say anything about it today. But since you guys asked, yes, if you send me an email to bvincent@bradleyteaches.com, I will send you that prize pack. If someone will please put that in the comments, that'll be great. And then we'll kind of cut it off after that because I don't want to be sending out a ton of emails. I want to kind of get another flow going. But anyway, all right. So back to Square social media videos, and I'm gonna talk you through the process, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. Right. As you see right now, I am making a live video, but during this live video, if you're using Ecamm like I am, it's also automatically recording a version of this video, right? Which I repurpose for things later on. Now, something else I typically do, because I do repurpose my videos, once I end my live and kind of take a breather and decompress a little bit, I'll sit back down in front of my camera and I'll shoot my intro and outro for other purposes, right? Hey, this is Bradley Vincent, Bradley Teaches. Today we're going to talk about blah, 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 boom, right? Then I'll shoot a closer. So with that in mind, I also want you to think about that for your promo videos, right? So if you're doing scripted videos, thank you. If you're doing scripted videos and things like that, you you already have a script or whatever else. I would suggest you write another little script of 30 seconds, or if there's like a cool 30-second part of your video, this will work for that, but I suggest reshooting just the commercial or just the promo, as I call it. So 60 seconds, 30 seconds, that's talking about what your video is going to be about, right? That's what I suggest you do, because that's what I did. I didn't cut some big long video and try to find 30 seconds. I just cut a minute-long video. So I'm going to walk you through that process of how I made my square video. So this is how you guys can do it, right? So what I'm going to actually do is walk you through it now. So let's jump into Keynote. So here we are in Keynote, our best buddy program, right? So let's make a new presentation. And I'm going to go to Document. And I'm going to make this square. Now I do my square videos 1080 by 1080. So let's do that real quick. And I'm going to zoom out so I can see the whole video. All right. So here we are. So this is the backdrop for our videos. 1080 by 1080 square. Now, what I typically do is, as I said, I'll shoot my own 1 minute long video. And then that's what I'm going to use. And it can roughly be whatever length. And what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to go into my Ecamm video folder, Ecamm live recordings. And I'm going to drag and drop in the video I shot yesterday. So here's that video, right? And because I did my square already, what Keynote will do is it will size your video to roughly fit that width, right? So if I had the regular size slide, it would be bigger, right? So with this, here we are. So here's my video. Now you can kind of work on some design elements right off the bat if you want to. If you want your video centered, you would put boxes at the top and bottom, or you can kind of roll your video down and have a thick top and a thin bottom. But we'll do ours kind of half and half right now, right? So here's my video. And then what I will do is create two shapes. So these will be the backdrops to my text and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'll just drag this to cover it. And we'll make these, two kind of wild colors. Let's see how far we are. All right. And I'll copy paste that. All right. So with this, oh, thank you. Thank you, the background. With this, what I am going to do is now kind of walk you through how to make this, right? Now, as you see my video here, this is the actual video I'm using for my commercial. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it real quick. I just want you to see something. Hey everybody, this is Bradley. Okay. Hey everybody, this is Bradley of Bradley Teaches. And I'm making this little video. Okay, so probably as you saw there, I messed up, right? Your key is to try to do this in one take because you don't want to use Keynote as a video editor per se, right? You don't really want to be chopping up your video and splicing it back together in Keynote. That's not what it's made for. But as you see, I gave myself a visual cue. I messed up. I waved my hand in front of the camera to let myself know, okay, that's a cut spot. I'm making some new stuff, right? So that's the only basic editing we're doing is cutting off that front piece that wasn't good and cutting off the back piece if it's a little bit too long. So now I'm going to go into Format, Movie. And what I'm going to do is right here on the trim box, I'm going to slide it until I get past my waving hands. Okay? I'm kind of settled right here. I want my mouth to be shut. That's a good spot. All right? So that's the beginning of my video. And now let's find the end of my video. So I'm going to go here. And I know when I say I'm gone, right? But as you see in Keynote, in Ecamm, I have to reach over and click my Finish Video button. So I want to edit that part out, right? So I know I'm through talking right about here, right? Before I cut my eyes over. So kind of like that, right? So that's the beginning and end of my video. So now you have trimmed your video. Now with that in mind, I need you to look down here into this area where it says repeat start movie on click and play movie through slides. You want to click off of start movie on click. You can leave on the play across slides, right? So now when you click off of it, you'll see that it jumps to your new starting spot. So now you have your video, your top box, your bottom box, and you're ready to go. Now, this is something else that I usually do, because as you saw in my video yesterday, you saw different things popping on screen. I said different words at different times and the graphics matched. Because there is no timeline, visual timer in Keynote, you actually need to play the video and take notes. That's what I did, right? Now, if you just want to have, hey, watch my new video up at the top and a link at the bottom with the time or whatever else in it, just do that. But if you want to have something that's kind of synced to the video and kind of have the video make up visual cues as you go along, this is what I would do to make that happen. So how I would do that, and this is before I put any words in, I'll grab my trusty notebook, right? And then I'll go to play slideshow in window. Hey everybody, right? This is Bradley of Bradley. Now as you notice down here, as you notice at the bottom down here, there is a slider with the time in it, right? So now I can watch my video, and when I say in Keynote only, that was at 13 seconds. When I say see me tomorrow at 2 o'clock, that was at 27 seconds, right? And so I go through here and I have my timer pointers throughout my video. That's how you can see your timer, so you know how to have your visual cues, right? So once you do that, you now have a script to go along with your video. So now if it's a minute video or a 30-second video, you can make that decision to have visual cues or animations that go along with it, or just have static text at the top and bottom and let it rock and roll, right? So now that that's done, I'll exit that out. So now I roughly have my script, and I have kind of a, okay, this is what I want to do with my video. I want the text to show up here, show up here, show up here, right? So with those things in mind and that setup, we can now start to move through and do the design elements for our Square promo video, right? So here's a couple of things that you want to look out for right now. Do you want to have a visual timer, or a time bar is what I call it, right? And that can be done in a couple of ways. I'm going to show you a couple of those different animations for the time bar and another kind of time graphic. And they're extremely easy to do. So let's start with those first. I'm going to do a shape and rectangle, and I'll size it to maybe, what a bar is, right? And I want to make this bar go the whole screen. And let's make it orange, right? So this means that my video is over because the bar is touching the right-hand side. So how I want to animate that, so I go to animate, add effect, and I'm going to go move in, right? I'm going to go left to right, but I'm going to set the move in to however long I want my promo video to be. So in this case, the video that I made yesterday was 60 seconds. So I'm going to go 60. And if I preview it, you'll see the bar coming in, and it'll be over in 60 seconds, right? Now, when you build out your video, right, the longest thing in your video is this bar. So you have now officially made a 60-second video at this point, right? And that's basically how you do the timing bar. You put a bar in, stretch it across, and set a time for it to move in, right? And let me turn off bounce. So this bar will fill the screen in 60 seconds. And it's a visual cue for those watching your video how long the video is going to be. Now, a second one that might be nice you might want to do is, I have done a circle before also. So say I put a circle here. And we'll make this kind of into a clock, right? So I go to format. It'll have no fill, but I'm going to put a line border. Let's put a color on that. Bright green. Let's kick that up. All right, and so now we'll animate this, right? So we'll go to animate, add an effect. And because it's a line now, we can use line draw as an animation. And we'll set that for 60 seconds. No easing out, no ease in, ease out. And so now that's another kind of visual cue that you can have for people for your promo video or your commercial to let them know how long they need to watch this, right? So those are two easy timer lines you can add to any video, really. You can add it to your lives. If you're doing a live and it's segmented, I'm going to talk about this for 2 minutes, right? Set the line draw for 120 seconds, right? And you start the timer as an overlay, start talking. And when it gets to the end, you're done. You can also, like for this, when it gets to the end, have the circle turn red, right? And then when you get to the next thing, just replay it as an overlay, right? So these are just visual cues you can use to show people how long your video is, how long they got to give you their attention, things like that, right? So those are two different ways that you can have a timer in your commercial or promo video. Something else you might want to consider or might want to do, because the videos will play on your phone or on a mobile device without sound, right? So I've seen people do this. They've done a voice bubble, and we'll put this over here, and we'll make it red. And we can add text that says, basically turn on the volume, right? And so you can do it this way and impact my trusty font, right? So these are little just visual cues you can have to tell people to do things during your video, right? And so the video can start. You can have this animation come on and throb, turn on your sound, right? And so these are little different things you can do. So I'll group these. And object list, group. Then for the group, I'll do an animation. And we'll pop. Right? And so you can have it do that when your video starts, right? Turn your sound on so you guys can hear me. So those are the different graphic elements you can do, right? And just like anything else, you can do movements to come in, like my Bradley Teaches bar that's popping up and down. I added that I usually use in my videos. I added it to my promo, right? You can use lower thirds in it. You can do all these different things. But now, let's get to the text, right? So this is essentially your video. You're ready to rock and roll now. I want to tell you a couple of downsides, though, to doing this in Keynote. In Keynote, when you do preview, right, you can test all your animations, but you can't test the video. The video will not run as a preview. You can only run your video manually here, and everybody, this will be synced up to the animations that you add. But if you play it in a window, you can play it and see it play with the animations and how all those things work together, right? So that's the only downside. You don't have a live preview of your video along with your animations. And that's why you have to watch your video in the window first, get your timing down, then add your animations here, and then kind of tweak it, right? So it's not, like, again, we're using Keynote for something that's not made to do, but it's a great alternative to all those other apps, right? It's something here natively. You can add your own animation, do all those kind of things to it, and there's no up cost, right? It's just you have to spend the time to do it. So here we are. Now we have in the build order, you want to make sure that the movie starts first, no delay. Then you can say this rectangle, which is the timer. Let me call it timer. Then the timer comes in. We're going to always say with number 1, right? And we'll turn off the circle. We don't need the circle anymore. Well, let's turn on both of them. It doesn't matter. We're just doing it for demo purposes anyway. So have the circle start with build number 1. And then we'll have the pulsating thing, right? It'll start after the 2 timers start. About half a second. So you can kind of see the other 2 things working out, but the video is not working, right? And you see the timer bar is working. And we're good to go, right? So that's kind of like how your animation is going. All right. So now we have the video in. We've cropped the video on the edges, right? We've added our bars to the top and bottom. So now let's kind of put in some active text. And then I'll take some Q&A from you guys about how these things are going. And if you think it works well, right? So turn off the preview. And let's add some active text. So text. Check out my cool video. Format. And I hope you guys can actually use something like this for, promoting your videos and, kind of just adding some cool things to your videos to get them some traffic, right? Because a lot of us spend a lot of time doing our videos or doing our lives, and most people are going to watch them in replay, like they're going to watch this one in replay, right? But if we don't promote them and let people know we're doing them and give them easy access to them, they just kind of sit on the shelf, right? And so the square video format also gives you opportunities to add more text and add more graphics and add more action to your videos than what you would get in that widescreen format that's squeezed, right? All right, so here we are. We're going to say, check out my cool video. And we're going to add this animation. We're going to do a build in for that. Build in. And let's do this. There we go. So we're going to do a build in for the text. And let's just say we're going to pop it in. All right. And then we're going to build in this text. And we're going to, I don't know. Let's drift it in, right? All right. So all these things are in relation to the video starting, right? So I'll have most of my things that I do, I either have them build in with number 1 or kind of build in a successive pattern, right? So right now, after that last timer comes in, I'll say, okay, after the timer comes in, I'll say, do this 1 second later, right? And so now we're progressing through our video now, right? So this is one way you can do it. Then you can say, okay, I want this thing to pop up after that last thing, have it pop up 2 seconds later, right? So now you're doing progressive versus everything based on the beginning. If you do it based on the beginning, that's fine. And then you can say everything will build in with number 1, but you want to plug in delays that match the timing that you found, right? So when I say the word keynote, that's at roughly 8 seconds. So let me do one more thing. I'm going to do some more words, right? And I'm going to say keynote. So I'm just going to show you another way of doing your alignment, right? Or your text setup. So I know that I say the word keynote 18 seconds into this video, right? So what I would do here is I would animate and I'll do a build in. I'm gonna pop it in and I'm gonna do this one with build number 1, which is the demo video playing, but I'm gonna set a delay on it knowing that I say keynote at 8 seconds. So at the beginning, this is gonna wait 8 seconds and then pop in and say the word keynote, right? So you can do it that way too. So everything builds in with number 1 and you progressively put your time in based on when the video started, or you can have everything build after something else and have those times in relation to the thing in front of it, right? So say you don't want to really cue it up based on what you're saying, but you kind of just want the words to, to kind of progress through whether it matches what you're saying or not. I would do it this style. One thing, next thing, delay, next thing, delay, next thing, delay, until I get to the end. If you want to cue it up based on your video and you watched it, you put your cues in on the timeline, you wrote them down, and I know I want to say the time when I'm verbally saying the time, I want the words, the time to show up. I would do all of that based on my video playing, right? So we're going to play this in a window real quick, just to show you what it looks like with everything working. Hey everybody, this is Bradley of Bradley Teaches, and I'm making this little video to show you something cool that I built in Keynote. Yes, all of this was built in Keynote. And if you want to learn how to do that, okay, so as you saw, the word keynote popped up at 8 seconds because I remembered when I did my cueing, I said keynote, right? And so there are ways to even do fake captioning if you want to, or something like that, where especially if you have a script, right? You do 3 or 4 words, then replace those with the last 3 or 4 words, then replace those with the next 3 or 4 words, right? So you can do your own kind of pseudo captioning too. So let me show you that real quick, and then we're going to do some Q&A time to kind of work through some of it, right? So say I want to flip out the word keynote with another word. So I'll just copy paste it. And I'm going to make this keynote, I'm going to make it say, eCam, right? So that keynote becomes eCam. And I'm going to go to my actions, and I'm going to animate in eCam, the word eCam. Am I doing it? Nope, it's not clicked. All right. eCam. All right. Build in. Oh, that's why. Okay, Keynote and eCam are that way. All right, that's why it threw me off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and build in eCam with a pop too, right? So I'm going to go to build order. And here's eCam. But before I build in eCam, I want to build out Keynote, right? So I go to the word Keynote, and I'm going to build out Keynote. And I usually do those with just a basic disappear. It just leaves, right? So I'll put that here. So Keynote will disappear after build 7 at 3 seconds. And then eCam will pop in after build 8 of no seconds. Right? So I'll preview it. So all this stuff is coming in. I say the word eCam at some point. Yeah, about 8 seconds in. So there's Keynote. And so we go through it. The bottom thing comes in. I think it's about 8 more seconds. And then Keynote will disappear and eCam pops up, right? So that's how you want to flip your things out. Before any new thing comes in, you have to make the last thing disappear. And then, if you're doing it that way, you can have pseudo captions at the bottom, right? Saying everything you're saying, typing out everything you're saying. And people don't even have to listen to the video, right? And they're going to watch it to the end. You have your link at the end or whatever call to action, and there you go, right? And your video is a minute long. So when it gets to the end there, your video ends. You can put another slide over it. What I did, as you saw yesterday, I actually did something like this. So format, make it green. I did that, and let me go to my desktop and I'll just build one out for you. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted. All right, do it again. So shape. This is kind of like my closing screen, right? I don't know if you all saw it yesterday. And let's go to bug. And I'll grab a gray one. So there's my bug. So this is kind of like my closing screen, right? And I'll shift click both of those and group them. And then what I did yesterday is I actually used the, I think I used Anvil. I can't remember. But I can't find it. It'd bite me. Okay, so let's go cube. All right. Oh, that's why. It's a build out. I wanted to build in. There's Anvil. All right. All right, so that's how I ended it yesterday. So go to build order and that build out, delete that. So as I go through my process and then I get close to the end of that 60 seconds, right? Because I know my timing, I'm either doing it based on 0 or based on each element as I go through, right? Because what I can do here is I can say, okay, after eCam is done, and I'm progressively getting up to my 60 seconds, right? So I'll say after build 9, let's say 60 seconds got there at 3 seconds, right? And so I'm going through and the bar is going, right, to get that 60 seconds in. I'm going through the whole thing. And when that bar gets like razor thin, close to that 60 seconds, because, you know, they're kind of dropping it and it can kind of be like a jolt or a surprise or an attention getter, right? That's kind of why I did mine like that, because I knew people were watching that bar. And then this kind of slams down and kind of, oh, wow. So it kind of gives you a visual kind of ending pop to really get people's attention. You can add a web address to it. You can say the words "see you tomorrow" or "see you at 3" or whatever again to go with that, kind of as a, you know, a real good jolt pow kind of thing to end it. And you can end it all kinds of different ways, right? But I want to, that's basically it. And at this point, you just export the video and upload it to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. They all accept square videos, right? Not IG, ID. InDesign does not accept square videos natively anyway. I guess you can upload it, but it might try to stretch it or something, or it might crop it. The other formats do accept square videos, so I would suggest start kind of using some square videos because it gives you a place to have additional content for your videos. It's not even necessarily a bad idea to shoot a 2 or 3 minute video with the animations, with the text, with the words that talks about you in general, to introduce yourself or introduce your new product or introduce your new service, right? So there are definitely ways to use the promo video in social in easy ways. I think we should be using a lot more of these. I'm going to be using a lot more of these than the typical graphic that says, hey, see me tomorrow. I'm going to shoot like these little videos, right? 30 seconds to a minute. I won't take long. Put my little timer bar on it to alert people, hey, it's only going to be 30 seconds. Hey, it's only going to be a minute. Visually, they don't know how long, but they see on that time bar that it's moving, right? And people will tend to hang in there on your video if they know how long they need to hang in there, right? And so having that time bar, if you're going to add anything to it, I would highly suggest that time bar at a minimum, or the time circle at a minimum. And then there's other ways to use those things, right? So I want to kind of just keep you encouraged with that. Try out some square videos. Make it hip to be square, you know. Promote your long tail videos or longer videos with them, some short promos. So as I said before, do your live, or even before you're live, right? Jump into Ecamm and shoot a short 30-second, roughly, minute roughly recorded video. If you mess up, it's fine, right? But get as big of a hunk of the video done so you don't have to edit. You can always chop off the front and the back in Keynote, right? And let me go back to this real quick. Let me show you one more thing. And I'm just going to delete that because I don't need it. Oh, it's basically in the way. All right, so let's go back to the video and knock that out. We're going to go to Format, Movie. You can also pick a poster frame for your movie, right? Now, the downside about this is that the poster frame you pick might not be the poster frame that Facebook picks, right? So you can always go back in and edit the video once you make the post and pick your poster frame, but you want to pick a really good first frame of your video, right? Whether the social media app will use it or not, like that, right? So that might be a good poster frame for my video. Now, that being said, all this text and all that stuff you see on it won't be there, right? Because initially they're not there in the timeline of the animation. These things don't start showing up to 2 or 3 seconds later. So essentially, your poster is only in reference to the video frame itself, right? So when you look at this when you look at it as a video, kind of on your desktop or whatever else, you're going to see a blank top and bottom with just your freeze frame, right? So you have to keep that in mind too. All right, y'all. So let's do a little Q&A. If you guys have any comments about any of the things or any kind of Q&A, let me look through real quick. Uh-oh. All right, so let's see. Hey, everybody. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for that. Can I start over? Yeah, when this ends and you click the replay button, it'll start over. Yeah, so let's see. All right, y'all. I'm trying to, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And if not, we will call it a day. But this is kind of how you do square videos with Keynote, so you can use them as promotional videos for your longer videos, right? So I definitely want to encourage you all to start using these. You can do your own kind of pseudo captioning, do some animated text, do animated graphics with it, right? Have stuff pop on the screen, have a thought bubble pop up, have that turn on your sound, right? Have that pop up. Even after it says it, you know, let me go back to Keynote. Have a bad habit of jumping back and y'all not being there with me. So go back to Keynote, and once it comes in, you can animate it with an action, right? And we'll do the pulse, right? So do that. So it comes on screen, and then you say, okay, turn on your sound, right? So you can do that. Then they'll turn on the sound. They can watch the rest of it and listen to the rest of it, right? Things that I'm not saying you can't do them with other videos, but at least this way, there's no anticipation that this may be a long video, because once you hit that widescreen format, people are thinking, oh, that's a full video. How long is this thing going to be? Whatever else. But with this kind of video, it's almost like ad-like. So it's kind of an ad without paying for ads, right? It's something that people are used to seeing and they're expecting. And it kind of flows right in with that. It gives your video a little more prominence because it might be seen as an ad. And then don't forget those elements, right? Don't forget the timer element. Don't forget the circular timer element. Add little different animations to it to help people key in on it. Yeah. No, you did not miss them. You didn't miss them. I'm sending them out tomorrow because I was in between doing some new stuff and about to send the email, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to send 2 emails. I want to give them some of this stuff too. So no, you haven't missed it. But I'll take some more emails between however long ago that was, a week ago, and maybe tomorrow until I actually send out the email package. After that, I'll kind of lock it down. But I mean, but it's it's kind of a goodie bag, kind of a thank you guys for supporting me kind of thing with some cool stuff in it. So yeah, but send an email to bvincent@bradleyteaches.com, and I'll send out the package to you. The plan is the package will go out tomorrow. It'll have some Keynote stuff in it. It'll have some static stuff in it, like PNG files that you can't edit, but it'll be some good stuff like that. But it'll be a little package of things. Don't expect this big huge crate full of stuff, but it's gonna be some cool things you guys can use, some things I think will be useful for you. All right, y'all. So as I said before, there is some breaking news. I'm actually checking my email now. There is some breaking news and some things that are going to be launched by Ecamm, I believe, today. So not launch, but kind of beta. So if you're not on the beta group, make sure you go to the beta group because there's going to be a couple of things there that I think may be interesting. And you might see me again today related to that stuff. So with that being said, let me go through, see if there's any questions before I let y'all go. You were late. What did you miss? You kind of missed everything. But watch the replay. We talked about making square videos. All right. So how's it going, Ian? He's watching from YouTube with the little YouTube icon. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing and coming on out. Appreciate y'all, Ecamm Network, the official Ecamm. How's it going, Dr. Cecilia? Good to see you. Everybody else is showing up as Facebook user. I'm thinking it's probably because of Restream, but we'll get that squared away. All right, y'all. I thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for checking this out. If there are no more questions, I'm going to let y'all go. And please tune in for next week. Let me know some things you all might want to see, and I'll do some more Bradley Teaches focused on those. I have my own Facebook group now for doing video graphics for video producer. I forgot what I call it. Graphics for live, I don't know. Graphics for live video, I think I call it. But yeah, it's a site or a page specifically for graphics and helping videographers do better graphics. Essentially using Keynote, but then some other things. But check that out because I'll be putting some content there that won't be anywhere else, and even some after the live, kind of going live in there to go a deeper dive and answer questions related to graphics. Yeah, my deep dive that I plan on doing, I'm so sorry I can't see who this Facebook user is. I'm going to do a deep dive in Keynote, and I'm thinking I'll probably add Canva as an option. But I like Canva, but I know right now my main community is filled with Mac users, and Mac users have Keynote. And like today, right? The square video thing is what a lot of people have kind of started doing with Canva, but it's an upsell. Transparency is an upsell. All these kind of different things. You don't have those issues with Keynote, but I do plan on. Okay, good. I do plan on doing some Canva things as well as other software. There's a couple of other software packages that I will be doing also. That's cross-platform because I don't leave the PC users out, and Canva is on that list. There's a couple of other Canva-esque software packages that are on that list, and I will be adding them. But right now, yes, sure enough, that Keynote is my primary niche audience right now. But I am expanding. I have dabbled in those other software packages, and they're great, and they will be cross-platform, so PC users can use them too. So we don't want to leave anybody out. But I know that there's a group of those that really want to dig deeper and know more about Keynote as it relates to video. And so, and it's free, and it's Mac, and it's easier. So yeah, but I'll be working in other software packages too. So that is on the agenda. All right, y'all. So until next time, Thank y'all for coming out. This is Bradley Teaches, Alana's Pawpaw. Be blessed, be free. See y'all next time. Catch y'all next week. Be square. Do something cool. Talk to y'all later.